Fast and Furious is celebrating its 25th anniversary this year, so I thought we could get in on the action a little bit and kind of revisit two of my favorite entries in the series. That being Fast and Furious the first and Fast and Furious Tokyo Drift, the third film in the franchise. Of course, we are closing in on the final film, I believe, in the franchise, maybe, fingers crossed. It's kind of getting to the point where, me personally, I feel like it's about time to kind of wrap it up. I think at this point, the series has, of course, gone through a lot of changes. Narratively, it has jumped quite the torpedo shark over here. But that being said, we're not here to talk about those. We're here to talk about the boots on the ground, the first and the third film in the franchise. Now, I will say, I think I was late to the party for the first film. I don't believe that I watched it initially when it did release. I watched it later, I believe, on a DVD copy. Even when I viewed it for the first time, I believe I was completely blown away. I think this film is, of course, it's very cheesy. It's very outdated by today's standards. There's a few lines in the first one that, of course, have not aged well by any means, but I can say, having lived through the early 2000s, the dialogue here is, let's say, very accurate to the times. That being said, both of the films capture that early 2000s kind of cheese, over the top kind of action. They capture it with such, like, I feel like a sincerity of they are striving to entertain you. Even if these films are they themselves jumping the shark to, of course, a much lesser degree than the ones that will follow later in the franchise. These films have some things narratively that, of course, you have to look past. Not everything would happen this way, of course, in real life, but that's not what we're here for. We're here for the races and the action and the Vin Diesel. I remember watching Tokyo Drift for the first time, I believe, in middle school. I've heard some say that Tokyo Drift is essentially a repeat of the first film. You have a veteran sort of taking in somebody under their tutelage and kind of like teaching them about the racing side of things. In Tokyo Drift, it's about drifting. I could see some similarities there, but I think both films kind of bring something interesting to the table. I think they're both great films, of course. If you have not seen them and you like kind of cheesy, over-the-top kind of things, of course, most of us know about the Fast and Furious franchise at this point. I still think there's a naivety, sort of like a weird type of sincerity that the originals kind of bring to the table. They are just like a comfort film. They're the popcorn flick. They're just made to kick your feet up. Just enjoy some nonsense for a while. It's kind of nice. And I still like to go back to them every once in a while. They're very fun films. Now, I do have some mixed feelings about the later entries in the series, but that's just me. So with all that being said, happy 25th anniversary to Fast and Furious. And thank you for sticking with me.